All right, everybody, we're back with another video, and in this video today, we will be reviewing the best hearing aids of 2024. Now, I wanted to wait a little bit to later in the year before making this video because some manufacturers will come out with new hearing aids late into the year, and I wanted to make sure I had some personal experience and patient feedback before reviewing any of these hearing aids. So without further ado, let's get into the best hearing aids of 2024. Now, I did want to make a disclaimer that the hearing aids in this video are not being ranked in any particular order. All right, the hearing aids that are in this video are the hearing aids that I've seen perform the best this year and that I've received the best feedback from my patients. But as I've said in previous videos, hearing aids are not a one-size-fits-all. So make sure before you decide to try any device, you talk to your hearing care professional and ask them about which hearing aid may be the best option for you. All right, the first hearing aid that made the list this year is the Phonak Audeo Sphere Infinio, which is a receiver in canal device. Now, I have released a full review about this hearing aid already, so if you'd like to check that out, I will put a link to that video in the description. The Phonak Audeo Sphere Infinio was just released in August this year and has made the list for several reasons. One of the main reasons being that I think this hearing aid performs better in background noise than any other hearing aid on the market. And what makes this hearing aid so special, besides their leading technology and speech clarity, is their spheric speech and noise program utilizing their AI chip. Now, there are other hearing aids out there that utilize AI. However, the Phonak Audeo Sphere Infinio is known for having a completely separate AI chip inside the hearing aid, which they call their deep sonic chip, which they have fed over 22 million sound samples, meaning they have fed this AI chip over 22 million different scenarios in different environments so that the AI chip can tell what are the sounds you want to hear, such as speech, and what are the sounds you don't want to hear, such as background noise. Now, I will be the first to admit that does not mean this hearing aid comes without any imperfections. Because they have added a second chip into this hearing device, it makes it substantially larger than your average device. So I do hope to see down the road they can figure out how to shrink the size of this device without sacrificing battery life or technology. Now, speaking of battery life, they do claim this hearing aid will last up to 16 hours with 5 additional hours of streaming. However, my patients have given me some feedback, and fortunately, it looks like they were wrong. And I say fortunately because they have told me that they've been streaming for 6-7 hours in the day after about 12 hours of use, and they still have plenty of battery life by the end of the day. So it does look like Phonak has underplayed that a little bit, but we'll take that. The Phonak Sphere Infinio does have a Charger Go case that stores up to 4 full charges, which I'm glad they've added, because when this hearing aid is utilizing that AI chip, or when you are utilizing the spheric speech and noise program, it is a battery hog. It drains battery at an excessive rate. So having that charger with you could save you if you are using the spheric speech and noise program for several hours in the day. Now, just so there's no confusion, Phonak has also come out with a new model this year called the Phonak Audeo Infinio, which is essentially the same hearing aid but without that dedicated AI chip, which also makes this hearing aid smaller and a more favorable size. So if the Phonak Sphere Infinio is just a little too big for comfort, then going with the standard Infinio could be a great option. And on top of that, Phonak has done a really good job with providing reliable hearing aids over the years. With a user-friendly app that gives you a lot of options for self-adjustments, such as volume control, frequency adjustments using their equalizer, directional microphone adjustments, and you can even adjust the noise reduction. Now, the Phonak Spheres do still use classic Bluetooth, which I do like a lot. Very easy to connect with any smartphone or smart device that you have, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. And you can connect up to 8 devices while actively being connected to 2 devices simultaneously. And on top of that, the Phonak Sphere will be forward compatible with low energy Bluetooth audio in the future with the firmware update, which you can have that done by going into your local clinic, and we'll update that with the firmware update. As of now, Auracast is irrelevant. However, in the coming years, we are expecting Auracast to completely replace telecoils within hearing aids, allowing you to walk into a sports bar and be able to directly connect to any one of the TVs in the sports bar, watching the football game or baseball game, whatever it might be, but also allowing you to connect directly to your TV at home without any separate accessory such as a TV connector. And also on top of that, even allowing you to connect directly to announcements in the airport so you're not missing any of your flight details. So we have some very exciting improvements to look forward to within hearing aids. Now, before we get into the next hearing aid, I do have a small favor to ask you, and that's if you found this video to be helpful and informative, to please hit that like button and to subscribe so that YouTube knows to push this video out to other people that are also looking for information like this as well. And I would be forever grateful. So thank you, and let's get back to the video. The second hearing aid on this list is the Signia Pure Charge and Go iX, as well as the Signia Stiletto iX, which are both receiver in canal devices. Now, I'll keep both of these hearing aids together at number 2, since they utilize the same exact technology, but just have completely different styles, which I think both styles can be very useful. I wanted to include the Signia Stilettos because I am a huge fan of its unique style. And if for any reason you are trying to keep as much space behind your ear available as possible, the Stilettos are a wonderful option for you. Now, Signia's iX platform is Signia's latest attempt at improving wearers' experience in background noise using a multi-bilateral beamformer and split processing. Essentially, the hearing aid has 3 front-facing microphones, 1 side and 1 back-facing microphone that takes snapshots of your environment, which then sends information to the hearing aid, creating an image of the environment that you are in, which allows the hearing aid to make these adjustments based off of the information it has received. They call this real-time conversation enhancement. And using the information it has received from those snapshots, the dual processor will be able to tell whether the information coming in is noise or speech, and they call this split processing. Another amazing feature Signia uses is what they call Own Voice Processing 2.0, and I really wished all the manufacturers use this. So this allows the hearing aid to be able to detect the amplification or the frequencies within just your voice and to diminish the amplification just within your voice. And this is going to help with what they call the booming effect. Now, this happens a lot with people that are getting fit with hearing aids for the very first time, and when they hear their own voice amplified louder than what they're used to, that creates a little bit of what they call an echo or feedback, and the own voice processing completely gets rid of it, and it works very, very well. Now, both the Pure Charge and Go and the Stiletto have amazing battery life, lasting well over 24 hours on a full charge, and have chargers that store up to 4 full charges, meaning you can take these hearing aids on the go without needing to plug them in for really about a whole week. And here in Florida, that is extremely helpful considering all the wonderful hurricanes we have. When it comes to wireless connectivity, these hearing aids still use made-for-iPhone technology, which I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of because it does make it very inaccessible for Android users. And unless your Android is ASHA compliant, you will not be able to connect these to your Android for phone calls and streaming. Now, if you have an iPhone, the made-for-iPhone technology is incredibly reliable, and it's actually even more reliable than your standard classic Bluetooth, which Phonak uses. Now, these hearing aids will also be forward compatible with LE Bluetooth audio with the firmware update in the future, which again means they will be Auracast ready. So when Auracast becomes a little bit more available, you will be able to use these devices with it. Now, as well as the Signia app is a very easy to use, friendly app that gives you plenty of adjustability, such as volume, bass, and treble, as well as being able to adjust your directional microphones for those who love to have that adjustability. Now, next up on the list is the Resound Nexia Rechargeable Micro Re, which is a receiver in canal device. This hearing aid, specifically the Micro Re version of the Resound Nexia, truly separates itself from any other hearing aid on the market because of how much incredible technology they could fit into a device this small. Now, what's very interesting is they did not reduce the size of the battery within this device to make the hearing aid smaller. What they ended up doing is creating a new housing, as well as creating smaller microphones and sealing them differently, which allowed them to reconfigure the components inside the hearing aid and virtually making this the smallest receiver in canal device in the world. Now, this device does come with their standard charger, which you can keep plugged in on your nightstand. However, you do have the ability to upgrade to their premium charger, which does also store charge in the charging case for several days. Now, because they did not reduce the size of the battery in this hearing aid, you still get over 24 hours on a single charge with several hours of streaming, which is just absolutely incredible considering the size of this hearing aid. The ReSound Nexia is probably one of the better performing hearing aids out there in terms of background noise reduction, specifically in their 360 all-around program using a 4-beamer microphone that does a really good job at background noise reduction as well as separating speech from background noise. Now, ReSound has not come out with the new app for these devices, which isn't necessarily an issue, just because the ReSound Smart 3D app is the highest rated app on the App Store. So I don't necessarily blame them for not fixing what's not broken. Their app is very reliable and it gives you some of the most adjustability compared to any other hearing aid app. And they have some really cool features such as the Check My Fit feature, which tells you if your hearing aids are in correctly, which can be very helpful for first-time users. Now, of course, you will have the ability to adjust the volume in the hearing aids as well as adjust frequencies using their equalizer and many other adjustments as well. As far as wireless connectivity, these do use the made-for-iPhone technology, which again means these will only work with an Android phone if it is ASHA compatible. However, if you have an iPhone or any really iOS device, these will work extremely well and will be very reliable. Now, interesting enough, the ReSound Nexia does currently utilize LE Audio Bluetooth, which means it is Auracast ready and you will not have to get a firmware update in the future to be able to use it. Although Auracast isn't quite available just yet, as soon as it hits the market, you will be the first ones to be able to use and experiment with it, which is pretty cool. Now, LE Bluetooth is not just for show. It does allow for longer, more reliable streaming, and it conserves battery life better than any other form of Bluetooth out there. Now, last but not least on our list for the best hearing aid of 2024 is the Starkey Signature Series, specifically their custom rechargeable CIC model. This hearing aid has not only made the list just because it is the only CIC rechargeable hearing aid in the world, but Starkey is well known for making some of the best performing custom hearing aids out there. These hearing aids have incredible battery life, lasting up to 38 hours on a single charge, which means if you were to forget about charging these the night prior, you would be able to get through just about the entire next day without a problem, which is very impressive for any device, let alone a completely in-canal device. Another great surprise that this hearing aid has to offer is that it is completely waterproof. With an IP68 rating, you can submerge this hearing aid underwater at a 1 meter depth for about 30 minutes. Now, by no means do I recommend you go and swim with these hearing aids, but for any reason, if you were to accidentally hop in the shower with these, or if you have extremely oily ears or even drainage, these hearing aids will be more than fine. Now, as far as wireless connectivity, unfortunately, these are non-wireless. So for all my Bluetooth streamers out there who love to have this feature and love to have the Bluetooth, these will not have it. So you will not be able to stream these to your phone for phone calls or music, etc. But because these are non-wireless, you will also not be able to stream these or connect these to the My Starkey app. Meaning if you would like to have some sort of manual adjustment or adjustability, you will need to order these with the push button, which will give you access to volume control. Now you can also activate what Starkey calls edge mode using this push button, which is very nice. And edge mode is another reason this hearing aid has made the list, and it really separates any other hearing aid on the market like it, meaning a completely in-canal device. When you activate edge mode, it does enable an onboard AI mode that instantly optimizes background noise reduction and really helps with the noisy environments. Now, I will say, with any in-the-ear device, some of them can do a really good job at background noise reduction. However, I will be completely honest, if background noise reduction is truly your biggest problem, and that is the thing you care about the most, I would highly consider going to something over the ear. Over the ear or receiver in-canal devices, like the others mentioned on this list, will always do a better job at background noise reduction because of the front-facing and back-facing microphones. When you have a hearing aid that is completely in your ear, your head is blocking those microphones from being able to point forward or backwards. So naturally, you are going to have better success with background noise reduction with over-the-ear device. All right, so if you have any other questions or any other videos that you would like for me to make in the future, let me know in the comment section below, because I will read each and every one of them. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope there was some useful information that you could take from this video, and I will see you all in the next one.